and
I just started recording.
and muscle.
Yep.
Yes, okay. So after I had my consult with these women, I just said that this is whatever they recommended was just too much. And I do 3 hours and I'll pick 3 things. And I began doing that. And I've been having a deep muscle massage for a long time. And so maybe 6 weeks ago, in earnest, I figured out what to do with my Healy. And I don't run the blue dot very often because the pink dot is where it's at for me, because my condition, I'm walking with a cane and I want as direct current as I can, and I want to progress as well as I can. I had been on it for a couple weeks and my massage therapist said, oh my God, something has really changed. Now I could tell the change in my legs, and how I will describe it is like an onion. It's like a layer, it would shift, the pain shifted, but it was like one more layer came off and one more layer came off. Nothing happens super, I mean, this is not miracle cures. My body is working on healing itself, is how I see it. The Healy, whatever it does, it helps me, my body, get back to where it wants to be. So she was able to do deep muscle tissue massage, deeper than she's ever been able to do it before. And I know that it's because of the Healy. And I didn't have another session with her until yesterday. And every time now I see her, she's able to go deeper. She's able to break up some of the fascia, which is connective tissue, which is the connective stuff. And my gait is better. My muscles are stronger. And so while I've had my Healy for a long time, it takes a while to figure this out. And I just decided that I'm going to run. And what I'm doing is I run it every day. And I run at least 3 of the, the either connective tissue, the muscle, the circulation. A side story is I had gone to the dentist. I had dental surgery in December. And because of the pain and the swelling in my legs, I have historically had very low blood pressure. When I went to the dentist, my blood pressure was 140, the first number. And I've never had 140, ever, ever, ever. I just went to the doctor a week ago and my blood pressure is down to 104. I'm running the circulation. I mean, I know that I'm doing the right thing, but I picked 3 things that are the most important to what I mean, I've got other physical issues, not that they're terrible, but I'm just focusing on this. And then I heard, John, a half of your program from last week where there was a woman that was talking about, like if you've got more than 3 to run, maybe run every day, every other thing. So like a Monday, Wednesday, well, I'm not there yet. I really, really want to see my progress with my RA, and it's not really RA, it's really the effects of the RA. I'm not having, and if I get a what they call it, a flare, I will have to figure that one out too, because I think that that's autoimmune. So I'm not doing any autoimmune. I'm just working on the damage that's already been done to help me walk better and feel better. So that's another one I didn't tell you about is some things with RA is sometimes you get nodules and you get funny growths in funny places. So I had a thing on my elbow and I talked to the doctor about this a couple of years ago. And I said, well, can they cut that out? He said, well, if we cut it out, yeah, you can do that, but it might grow back. It is reducing in size. It's about half the size that it was before I started using Healy. So I know that my body is simply absorbing whatever that is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I, as I see it, the Healy is helping my body come back to balance
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and allowing me to heal. Now, what I think that you were talking about this before I signed in is that there is this whole mind body program too. I mean, mind body. And I am well aware that emotional reactions to some things caused my arthritis to trigger. I mean, it was an emotional thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got to get your head in the right place and not be upset
Oops, I don't want that.
about what you don't have,
I don't want
and
that.
get to a happy place so that the Healy can work.
Participants.
So it's like for me, it's a double whammy. I'm working on the mind body, and then the Healy is helping with the physical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Lynn, let me ask you, and I really appreciate that you sharing that, because my background is why I got into the Healy as well, is I had some major arthritis, fibromyalgia issues back almost a year ago now, and I had it for 7 years before that. But what I found, and I think you're taking the right approach. Intuition in your body is a lot. You know your body better than anyone does, and I think you hit it directly on the head. That's the way I've always thought about it too. Is the Healy's a tool to help your body run like it should, right?
Yes.
It just strengthens everything about your body and allowing it to heal from the inside, and that takes a lot of time. I mean, when you live with this for a long time, even a year goes by, and you're like, if I were to take myself a year ago from this date and compare how I feel now to the way I felt then, we're tipping the scale at 100%. I mean, I still have, and everyone has their daily aches and pains. I'm not, I'm 43 years old now, but I felt like I was about 75, 80 years old before. I mean, that's how bad it was. But I mean, one question to you is, one big thing that I felt with the Healy is that while you work on the physical, what you don't even notice, but other people may, is that mental balance also comes. And I don't know if you felt any of that yet, or you've noticed that in yourself, but I noticed it after a few weeks, maybe a month or two, even after I started using the Healy. Like, I felt like I didn't have the mood swings. I didn't have, I was just more balanced mentally, where I didn't have the brain fog like I used to, where I couldn't even get a sentence out sometimes. And if you felt anything like that.
So what I noticed, it's been particularly difficult in this last year, when I was not on the medication anymore. All last summer, along with COVID-19, I had no energy. COVID-19 did not bother me a bit, because I sat at home and I didn't have any energy to do anything anyway. So it's like no big deal. When I began using the Healy, I didn't use any of the mental health programs. I began to feel more energy, like I wanted to do more. And that is simply running these other programs.
Yep.
I was not focusing on release or deep. I mean, I ran the gold cycle in the beginning because I didn't know what else to do. And so I ran the gold cycle. I ran some other things, and I would put the blue dot on, and I was farting around with it. Okay. And then I began to feel like I felt better, but it was really more, I've been working on my head for so long. My head was in the right place. because I was not focused on what I couldn't do. I just didn't have any energy.
Mhm.
And then I began like, oh, I feel like I want to do more. And maybe that's why I focused and got working on figuring out what I'm going to focus on with Healy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense. I can resonate with that really well. It's I've
So I
been there.
didn't use, yeah, I didn't use any of the other programs.
Yep. Yep. And you know, for each person, it's different. I mean, for me, it was, I felt within the first week of having my healing, using it daily, I used release a lot. And that helped me a lot. I mean, just because it's such a, you know, a broad spectrum of frequencies. And, but, you know, like Anae and I even talked about last week, we went back and forth about this, is consistency in those programs and running them for not a day, not 2 days, but we're talking weeks, if not months, you know, back to back, to really get your body to where it needs to be and allow it to heal. And I think, you know, that's
Right.
key in your instance as well. And that's what I've seen.
No, it's ever since I got serious.
Mhm.
And it's like, all right, it seems like the Healy's got like thousands of programs and it's overwhelming. And
It
it's
is.
just, I had to put that aside and say, I don't care.
Yep.
You know, it's like, what do I pick? Oh my God. And you're always worried about, am I doing the right one, not the wrong one? I guess I can be in my head. And I just said, you know what? I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just gonna do the simple thing. And that's what I'm going to go after.
Yep. Well, good for you. It's always a pleasure hearing a story like that. And, you know, like I said, I resonate so much with it. And it makes me happy to hear people that have stories like that, because I know how it made me feel. And I know exactly the thoughts that are going through your head right now, and how happy that you are for doing this and taking that step and figuring it out. So that's awesome.
And what's
Yeah,
nice
what
to
makes it
hear about it,
simple.
Lynn, what's really nice for you sharing this is I know we've got a lot of new users here.
Okay, I think the meeting's being recorded. So can I watch it after it's done recording?
He does get them up on his YouTube.
This guy here.
Yeah. So anyways, Lynn, so somebody was that yeah, I just muted them for right now if they want to talk.
We'll get it on YouTube.
But what's really helpful is because, you know, I think when Paul and I joined, we both joined at similar times, and there wasn't a resource like this where we could begin to learn and try and, you know, hear other stories, what to do, how to do it. And so Paul and I came up with the idea of, why don't we have a user group? Why don't we just get together once a week and have new users come in? People can share their testimonials. We can give demos. We can share stuff. So when you spoke to me tonight, earlier this afternoon, to ask, I thought, what a perfect example, because I'm just kind of reiterating so people can go through like the frustration part, the not knowing. I didn't know where to go. Then I kind of realized I was, you know, wherever I was in my own mind. And then it's like I just kind of intuitively picked up, well, I know my own disease or my own challenges, my rheumatoid arthritis. So I'm going to start to pick programs on there that seem to fit. And I think you were saying, like, you know, connective tissues, muscles, what have you. And then you pick those. And then the beautiful thing you did is that you ran them through the microcurrents, and you ran it again and again and again. And I want to reiterate one thing, why that's important to run a program again and again and again. If our body is like a wagon wheel and it's rolling down the street and it's got a lump in it, so it kind of goes ba-boom, ba-boom, and we got to slowly start getting it round again. Well, when you run the frequencies, it might come out, but it might forget where it was and it goes back. And then the frequencies go up, up, up. Nope, you need to go back out again. And think of it like entrainment. You're training the brain and the body to go back to its normal state of homeostasis. It's like, I'm going to go to learn to do push-ups today. Well, you know, I might only be able to do 5 if I haven't been doing them, or maybe even 1 if I'm lucky. But if I begin to do push-ups again and again and again, I'm going to build up the strength where I could maybe do 10, maybe I could do 20. right? And as your body goes through this entrainment with the frequencies, these frequencies that you pick, they go, I know how to heal muscles. I know how to heal connective tissues. I know how to stimulate the body to do what it's forgotten to do, but I got to re-remember it again and again. So your testimony, Lynn, is extremely valuable for us as a group because it lets us know that it's like practice and that you don't get something on a one-hit frequency. Sure, sometimes it happens, but other times it's over a period of time and the dedication to do it through the microcurrents. So I'm really grateful that you shared
Yeah.
that. And if anybody else has questions, but you know, that I think that really helps us. Is there something else that I'm missing, Lynn? Please go ahead.
No. It was, and I also, it's like to hook yourself up to this thing, you gotta be sitting in one place. You can't be moving around. I mean, so I had to figure out a way to do it consistently every day. Cause I knew it's like, you gotta do this every day. Come on, you know, and then I began to see change. I mean, I didn't get where I got overnight.
Hmm.
So
What were some of the early changes you saw, Lynn, that you remember? So like where did you subtly pick something up that gave you a sense you were doing the right, that you were starting to see the progress you wanted to see?
So, but you have to understand how RA works. RA attacked the connective tissue in my legs, and which means the muscles can't stretch because it's connective tissue covers muscles, ligaments, and tendons, and everything was affected in my legs. Now, there isn't a thing that doctors can do for you when you're just stiff. I can hardly walk. And what I noticed is when I began using the Healy, different parts of my legs felt very different. I mean, it just, I could tell. It's like, oh, they feel a little different. I have a little bit longer stretch muscles than, I mean, it was piecemeal, but you've got to be paying attention to how your legs feel, how my body felt. And it's like, oh, every day, it's like an onion, little layers, little things, to the point where I didn't hurt in places that I used to hurt. I mean, so it began, that's all I can explain to you,
Okay.
is that I didn't hurt as much and it was different.
Mhm.
And the more I did it, the less I hurt in other places.
Got it. You know,
So,
I can share
so
this,
it's,
Lynn, if it's okay to share it. Like I can remember in the very beginning talking with you, and obviously, yes, we had the frustration with the early Healy issues, the right product, the right this, right to do. And I can remember a lot of frustration in the beginning. So you know,
oh,
and just with the whole experience and even kind of going through it, but I'm sharing this as the group because what I recognize what you did is you persisted through it. And maybe there, you know, whatever it was, you persisted through it to get to the other side instead of quitting or not going through with it. You
oh,
persisted. So
John, let me,
that's kind of interesting. How did you persist? Because there were times when I kind of thought to myself, I go like, wow, I wonder if Lynn's going to continue.
no, I will tell you this. It is a bias of mine about the Western medical system. And what choice do I have? I knew that the whole universe works on resonance. Everything vibrates, everything. And I knew that the Healy worked that way. What choice do I have except going on cancer medications? I mean, stuff that hurts you. I mean, you've got to see the side effects of the medicine they want to put you on. Well, you know, this could, you've got to see the doctor every 3 months because it might hurt your liver. Like I could die from the medication.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's, for me, the motivation was, listen, Western medicine doesn't give you a lot of choices. Either they cut it off or they give you medicine, and that's what choices you have. And I was working on my mental status, my head, my mind body is like, okay, I created this. I've got to get right with me. And then I'm going to persist, because I really know that this is, I knew intuitionally, I knew that this is where I wanted to go.
Okay, thanks. Let me just open it up. If there's anybody else here that's new or has a question for Lynn, or if we want to, just thank Lynn, and Lynn can come back and talk to us. We can shift to another area. I don't want to have this dominate the whole evening, so we
Right.
can help anything else. But does anybody out there have a question for Lynn that we haven't asked, or would have a curiosity that they wanted to go through and learn from Lynn on her experience? Or do you have a different question you'd like us to address?
I'm sure that, John, if you've got newbies, they just want to take it all in.
Mhm.
It's just, it's a complicated system, and you'll get there, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to go through and Paul, do you have anything that you'd like? Paul, what I think what might be kind of good to share with the folks, and maybe we kind of walk through this. We can talk about microcurrents. We can talk about the blue dot, and we can talk about the coil. And I know that you've got the coil experience, but we can talk about what is the benefit and what is the difference between those three. And we could have you and I could have a discussion, Paul, and begin to do that. And if people want to pipe in with questions, please do, because we're by no means like the experts. We may have some experience, but this, we're here roundtable to learn as a community.
No, yeah, we're not. And I think I saw a video that one of the teams with Max put together on microcurrent versus the coil.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't even watched the whole thing yet, but I think it would be, what I have seen of it is very good. There's a couple doctors that are involved with this discussion. And even to play that for the group one night. So we can kind of get into it. And I can give my experience. I'm kind of right now in awe, of the experience that was just shared. Just because it's like I just took a time machine back a year, and what's to come for you is good things. And I'm happy to hear. And the biggest thing I always tell people is, you can't base your decision off the Healy after a week or 2 weeks. This is a process that your body goes through that you need to give it time. The Healy's not healing you. Your body, God has given us every bit of healing power that we need. It's just we become off balance, and the Healy is such a good tool to support that, to become back in balance. So I believe in that, and that's taken me a long way. So I'm just I get goosebumps hearing it, because it's such a good story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, very grateful for you being willing to come and share that story again, Lynn. I mean, I think this will resonate with a lot of folks.
I mean, my big thing, and Sarah was just saying something too, the difference between what I use the blue dot a lot. Now with the microcurrents, the microcurrents is where it was at for me too. And it always has been. It's a physical feeling. You feel something changing. In fact, during the program, I can feel my body act different, right? I mean, for me, I get this feeling in my eyes, like they burn a little bit. And it's like when you have allergies, but then it goes away right after the program's done. I get that feeling in the blue dot as well, but not as strong.
Mm-hmm.
And the blue dot, where I've used it, is I found that the Healy is so intuitive to our bodies. And I was very skeptical of how intuitive it was at first. Like I would run a scan on myself and it would tell me, oh, bioenergetic balance and, run cold or run immune system. I'm like, I don't even feel bad. And then sure enough, 3 days later, 4 days later, I didn't listen to it. And there it is. I felt a cold coming on. That's how intuitive I believe Healy can be when we use it in that manner, where it knows something's off in our body before we physically feel something's off in our body. And Sarah was just saying the same thing, if she had listened to that, because she's dealing with, getting over shingles now, and I think she's on the home stretch of that. But listening to what it said to run early on, when she just started having pain and there was no physical signs of shingles, would it have changed things a little bit? Now,
It said liver.
it said liver, and it also said lymphatic, but do I believe that, like, she's been doing, John's been gracious enough to help with the time waiver. And I think she's cut this shingles process down by weeks, probably, I would think, because once we ran that, although she didn't feel great, John, you know that, but
Right.
all of a sudden that second day after we bombarded her with frequencies, all of a sudden things started shifting and shifting quickly.
Wow.
So I think it does know what it's doing. It's just a matter of, intuition is also a lot of it as well.
So somebody want to bring forward a question? Somebody, any kind of question? I could do a demo. We can answer
You know
the
what?
question.
John, yes,
Yeah.
would you please talk about the coil
Okay.
and
Let me grab mine, John.
I just
Okay.
ordered that today.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a high level overview, and as Paul grabs his thing, I think what we're also going to do is I'll get that video out to you, because I was aware that went on last night and I haven't had a chance to see it. And so Lynn, I'll get you a copy of that so that you can more see it, because I know that you're going in here. But so let's figure, so I want to kind of go through and describe ourselves. So if we go back to the very beginning and we go like, okay, we were when, now what they know in physics, when they go into physics, and we might not really understand this, they don't know if they go, is it matter or is it a wave or a particle? And they go, it all depends on the point of the observer. And so they go like, what is really matter? Well, when we all sit here, I can have fun and say, okay, well, I see Rebecca with her chin in her, in her hand, right? And she goes, oh, I feel something very physical, right? It feels solid, right? But really what we're starting to learn is we're like light energy, slowed down, condensed, but at the very core, we're still just energy.
A good friend, Olivia.
Right? So with that, it's like, well, okay, do I really need to know all this? Well, in a way, yes, because Einstein and Nikola Tesla has said, the secret or the power of medicine in the future is going to be frequencies, energy, and vibrations. And we just heard a beautiful testimonial from Lynn about that. So now what is Healy doing that when it comes through there and it begins to support us in 3 different ways now? So we know that Healy supports us with the wristbands, that we can actually put wristbands on ourselves and actually have wristbands with little cords that wrap around us, and they go through and they deliver microcurrents. So what is happening with a microcurrent? Now, if they're sending a millivolt of electricity through our body to basically go through to create a connection. You really don't feel it. You might feel it a little bit, but it's not going to be like a TENS unit where it causes your muscles to twitch. So it's at 1,000 volts less than at a TENS unit, but it does create an electrical connection through the body. And when it does have that electrical connection, and we can tell that when we see the white circle from around on the pink dot, and we see the white circle, not the black, that tells us, one, we've established a connection. So now that they've got the electricity going through us in a millivolt fashion, now along that thing, along that backbone of the electricity that's going through us, they're going to send a frequency. And we can see that being vibrated. So at a very physical level, or at a more dense level, we are getting the frequencies vibrated into our body. And what it also is known to do, and we have that type of microvolt, individual microcurrent frequencies, when that stuff is coming through with us, it's known to energize our cells. And they've done study and test on this where it takes our cells and brings them back to a more youthful state where our cells begin to function more like children's cells, young adults. And if we have cells that do that, they're going to be able to create healing. So that's why it's valuable to do the microcurrents. Okay? Now, the next two levels. And Paul, I'm going to jump to Blue Dot. I'm going to let you maybe come back to the, are you back, Paul?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so the Blue Dot, the Blue Dot, the example I give on the Blue Dot, where is that touching us? And so the example I like to use is, we've all had the experience, or at least almost everybody I've asked this question to. Have you ever had the experience you think of somebody and then they call you? I don't know where it was. I was just thinking of you and bam, you called me. Isn't that just a weird coincidence? Or, we were just figuring about how to go get together. And then boom, there it is. Or you sent me a text message. Whatever that is, that is an experience of in the quantum field of how we're connected. So that's where we think we end physically, but we don't. We extend outward. And I've demonstrated that here on these calls before when I've taken a picture and I send frequencies out to everybody, and then somebody goes, oh, I can feel a difference. So we're connected. I'm connected to you, Kara, right now, and through the quantum field, or Diane, or Rebecca, or Pat, Sarah, Morningstar, Lynn, Hun, Laura, Joel, Gail, we're connected. But it's very ethereal-like. Well, that's where the Blue Dot is. And in that space there, where we extend out into that field, the frequencies are out there tapping on us out there, creating the kind of change that needs to happen. And that's sort of an example like what's behind me on my little virtual background here, where you have the lady over there, all of a sudden, the currents are hitting her and she's opening up. So that's kind of what's happening out in the information field. And then you know what? At a certain point in time, do you need to know everything what I just said? No. You can just use Healy and know it works. I mean, can you explain to somebody why your cell phone works, how it goes through a base station and it goes to a cell tower and it vibrates over there, maybe it bounces off a satellite and it comes back down, and was it TDMA, CDMA, or GMSA radio wave signals at how it was sent? No. Did my phone ring? Right? That's all we really need to know. At the end of the day, when that blue frequency starts to happen, that's what's happening there. So that's at that very large field. And then maybe coming in shorter, Paul, you want to talk about the coil?
Yeah, I can talk quickly about the coil.
Sure.
I actually just found a really neat presentation. I'm going to be talking now. Sorry. I just found a really neat presentation on the Healy back office as well. That's available to everyone that has a Healy. I can go ahead and kind of share it. I'll turn on my screen here too. John, I don't know if I can actually share my screen.
Oh, here, man, we make you co-host. Hold
Yeah.
on. Where are you, Sarah? Where is Sarah? Sarah. There it is. Okay. Should work now, Paul.
Okay, perfect. So I'll share it after. So I'll start the video here on my video, and I'll show. Can everyone see me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you see the Healy? Is it?
We can see the Healy, but it's kind of hard to notice the difference with the coil.
So basically what the coil is this little square device. It has basically two magnetic fields. It's a little coil, and what it is in there, there's there's a positive and a negative side. And basically what it is Nikola Tesla invented something like this. It's wireless energy. And what it does is make a zero field frequency. So this coil only works with the pink dot applications. Doesn't work with the blue dot because we're using scalar waves to transmit the blue dot applications to wherever we need to in the world. This works different. This basically brings the microcurrent frequencies that we use on our body to a wireless state. Now with that, it's not as potent as if we were to hook ourselves up to the electrodes, but you can still feel it, but you want to keep it close to your body. And basically it's really easy to use. There's nothing to it really. It slides in just like that, clips in, and you just wear it. And actually what I found with this is that it stays on yourself a lot better because the clip is much tighter now. So I wear it all day. I wear it all day at work and just keep running frequencies. I don't seem to get worn out. If anyone's ever experienced it, where you run too many wired frequencies in a day, you can have some negative effects from that. And this hasn't done that to me yet. So it all depends on how. Hold on, guys. Sarah, I think your mouse died here. I'm not a Mac user, Sarah. I'm on Sarah's computer tonight, so I just want to see if she can. I was going to share my screen quick. If not, I'll run upstairs and do it. Technical difficulty real quick.
And no way wrong. Where's the cord for that's always plugged in there?
I'll run upstairs quick as she does it. John, just hold on.
Sure.
Oh, right here.
Okay, Kara, so I see your question. So you're understanding that the pink dot wire programs are better or stronger? They're a physical application, and from what I've learned, and especially like in here, it energizes your cells in a way better than the other ways do. So it'll actually energize your cells, and it provides a different form of treatment than going at it with the blue dot, and I think actually in the pink with the microcurrents. So, and I get sometimes it's difficult to find time to get yourself hooked up. Some people find that, so like there's little strategies we've used, but at a minimum, what I've heard on the Healy to see results over a period of time, they suggest that you at least run a few programs during the week. And then people who are more committed, like you heard Lynn's story, she was running 3 programs a day. And she's been doing that now consistently. And on her chronic condition, she's seeing the change there. So that, so you understand that the wired programs, have an effect. I don't know if I necessarily say it's better, but it has an effect that you won't get from when you run the blue dot. But I've had the kind of effects on a blue dot that I've done nothing else but run blue dot. And I've had shifts on energy stuff and shifting. Paul can say something as he's begun to notice my personality changes that he picked up on me, and it was purely from running a blue dot program over the course of a month. And I had no idea. I didn't perceive it in myself. I had somebody outside me reflect back to me on it. So it's yeah, I wish I could have a definitive answer and say like, just run pink, don't run blue. But they both seem to, they come at you at different ways to support, revitalization, well-being, healing of the body. Does that help a little bit, Kara? And I think it'll just be experience. And then maybe in a week or 2 weeks or a month after you've been using it, maybe you can come back on and then say, here's been my experience when I've been running this. And like Paul said a while ago, Paul, I'm just carrying up some, oh, there he is coming in, is that he had to learn to begin to trust, because it just seems so weird that you run this scan and the next thing you know, it's telling you what frequencies to run. Like, how does that work? And so I get that, there is that part about how does that work? Well, it just does. It just works. And so it's a matter of just continuing to trust it, do it, give it time. And the thing to do with frequencies, and then I see Paul's online now with us, so that I'm going to let Paul pick up here, is water. You need to drink water. You need, whatever your weight is, take your weight, divide it in half, and that's how many ounces. I weigh 180 pounds. Half of that is 90. I'm to drink 90 ounces of water a day. How do I do that now? Because I thought, oh, I drink a lot of water. I found out I hardly drink enough water. So I got a bottle. See, does it show up here with the virtual background? There it is. Maybe I got to show it to me. So it's kind of weird. I'll get rid of that virtual background. But anyways, I got a bottle. Why doesn't it? There it is. Okay, so there's my bottle. And that bottle holds about 45 ounces. So if I get 2 of these bottles in me a day, I've got the amount of water I need at a minimum. And then I can measure it. And if I don't drink enough water, then I find out. So I fill the bottle up in the morning, and then I start drinking out of it. That's the only way you can really find out, because everybody I talk to goes, oh, I drink a lot of water. And finally, and they don't. Oh, I had a glass.
Most people do
I had 2
underestimate
glasses.
that.
And coffee doesn't count, tea doesn't count, those kind of things. Those things are actually negative on water. You need to drink more when you drink a cup of coffee. So
I was told that if you drink a cup of coffee, you need to drink double the amount of water. So if you have 2 glasses of coffee in the morning, we'll say 8 ounces just to be nice. That's 32 ounces of water that you have to drink to bring back where you were to start at 0 again. So before you have 3 cups of coffee, just think of how much water you have to drink after.
excuse me, I gotta go. I gotta get some more water. I had 3
Yeah.
cups of coffee.
Right.
Thanks, Sarah. Go ahead,
All right,
Paul.
I'm gonna see if
Are you
I can
Still getting that
pop
up?
this up here. We're all gonna experience this together because this is the first time I've seen this. And I don't know if anyone else has. So we're gonna kind of go through, I know a little bit about how to use the coil. I don't know a ton about it yet. I'm only 2.5 weeks into it. It's been great for me so far because when you're out and about, I mean, like Lynn was saying earlier, the pink dot, you really want to focus on what's happening in your body when you're running the frequencies, right? And at least one time a day, you want to be in a relaxed state to run a program. You don't want to be running around, and it's hard to do things with wires hanging off your arms and they get caught on everything. I usually, if I had to do something, I'd run them down my sleeve before. This takes that all away, and that's what I love about it. I mean, for the price of what this is and what it has done so far, it's well worth every penny of it. So basically, what it is, I showed you, how it works, how it connects, and I'll keep this short. Like I said, if anyone has any questions on this, the first time I've seen it as well, so feel free to speak up. But like I said, basically what this coil is doing is it's just taking over for the electrodes. Now, I wouldn't put it as a direct replacement because nothing will replace the physical currents going in your body, but this is the next best thing because what this coil does when you plug it in with the Pink Dot apps is basically, and I'll go back to the slides, basically what it's taking is magnetic fields, one positive, one negative magnetic field. And basically what that does is a zero field, it's a zero frequency field that allows the energy to transmit through this coil into that field, which your body accepts those microcurrents. So although not as strong as the cables hooked up to your wrists, it's the same frequency entering your field, but you're holding it very close to your body. So that's one of the big differences between what this is and what the Blue Dot does. It's taking those pink frequencies and transmitting them right near your body for your body to take those in. So in the simplest form, That's what I've learned it does. Now, basically, like I said earlier, this comes from, and I was really excited when they first announced this, because I mean, this was something that, Nikola Tesla came up with, early on, is wireless energy. And if you actually Google a Tesla coil, or go to YouTube and look it up, and there's people that do this all the time with these coil that can light, they play around at home and light bulbs with wireless electricity. So it's a really cool and a proven technique that works, to be honest with you. So to provide us something like this just reiterates the fact that Healy is not going to stop improving. Their mission and what they stand for is a healthier planet, and doing something like this and listening to their customer base, it does mean a lot, because that was the one thing that I've always heard, is like, I wish we could get rid of these cables. Well, there it is. So in the 2 or 3 weeks that I've been using it, I know that I ran a program, but it doesn't affect me quite the same as when I run them with the cables. But I also can physically feel the frequencies depending on where I have it on my body. Now, I think Zach was on one night, John, and he said he could feel it in his legs when he used it.
You're right.
Now, me, I feel it where I have it. I usually keep it right up, near my neck, on the collar of my shirt at work, and I feel them right in that area. The one thing that I do, and that it says to do it, is run it at 100%. Now, Zach, again, he's a little more sensitive to the frequencies. He actually said he ran it lower than 100%, and it worked just fine for him. Me, I crank it up. Of course, I crank it up on the electrodes as well. But as far as the questionnaire and the coil study, as you can see here, the numbers don't lie. They did a blind study where they sent out, John, do you remember how many of these they sent out? 200 or so?
I think it was 300. Did you say 300, Paul?
Oh, 257 right there at the bottom, 257 participants.
Okay.
So you can see the how the coil and the response that these people are doing. I think they gave 2 weeks where they were only able to run the coil frequencies. They weren't able to run the bracelets. And they came back with positive results. And I haven't had a chance to really dissolve any of this information yet. Actually, I'll look at it tonight. But really, in a nutshell, that's what the coil is and what the coil does. It's kind of it takes the place of the bracelets, but don't only substitute the coil for the bracelet, is basically what I'm trying to say. I still run 1 to 2 programs a day with bracelets. The rest of the time, I'll just pop this on my collar and run around with it while it's running. Questions on any of that?
I have one question. This is Lynn. When I did I did a session, an hour session with some gals who had experience with a lot of Healy stuff. They said you could run the pink dot and shut your phone off, and the pink dot will continue to work. Is that true?
That is true. As long as you can stop your Bluetooth connectivity to your Healy on the pink dot, and this will still run, as long as when you start a program and you let that program download to your Healy, you will see this green dot, the power button. It'll blink like once every second. That means that program is running.
Right.
So even if your blue LED on your Healy's not going, but your green one is blinking, you're still running that program. Because if you were to start your phone back up, go back to your pink dot app, you will pick up where you left off. It'll show you. So yes,
So you don't know how long you've been doing it because that's what your phone tells you. It
correct,
just run. Oh,
correct.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
You won't know
Actually, you
exactly
could let it
what
run
frequencies you're getting, but you will be running it.
Right. And Lynn, another another
Thank
thing
you.
there. Let's say you've got that program and you want to run it again. So you know when it finishes the program, your Healy will automatically turn off.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
When you've disconnected it from the phone, so you've got no EMF
Right.
energy going back and forth, but Healy is broadcasting or through the microcurrents giving you that program. When it terminates, the Healy will turn off. If you turn the Healy back on, it remembers the last program that you downloaded and it will start it up again. You don't even need your phone. So it's just a little trick. If
Oh.
you go like, oh, I'm working on connective tissues. I don't want to turn it on. I like to do, I've waited, a little while. I'd like to run it again. Just turn it on, bam, you'll get that. And as long as you've got battery power, the thing will go and run that complete program for you again.
And you can use your phone for something else.
Yep.
With the pink dot's nice because you can use your phone while you're running the pink dot. With the blue dot, that's the only program that can run. Otherwise, it'll kill
Okay.
the Healy app. But with the pink dot, you're able to run other programs. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a question
Anything
in
else
here.
before we wrap up?
I got a question in
Yeah.
here talking about somebody. Okay, we've got somebody dealing with pain in another state in the blue dot, and you're not seeing anything yet. Okay, so I don't know if are you still on there, Janice, or did I miss you already?
Yep, I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
So
Got it.
maybe I didn't. So my question is that I have a family member that lives in another state and they're dealing with pain. So since she's not near me to use the pink dot,
Mhm.
my only way to work with them is through the blue dot. I'm not seeing a program for pain in the blue dot. So can you
It's
assist
not
me on what
labeled-
program I could use?
Yeah, it's not labeled pain anymore. It's labeled stimulation, I believe.
Okay.
Oh,
And the
I thought
blue
I
dot,
saw
now they
Paul.
changed-
Isn't it in there also pain and psych?
I
Right.
thought they changed it, John. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was under stimulation now, but under the blue. I may be confused, but I thought they changed it.
No, I'll take a peek.
How many times are you running a program daily as well?
I just got my Healy, so I'm playing with it right now. So, but like if a person has a pain, let's say in their shoulder, another person has it in their sciatic nerve, do you have to think about where that pain is at when you're helping them?
No, as long as, intention is everything when it comes to the blue dot. And intention's everything when it comes to everything in life. But more on the healing process side too, they have to be aware of it first.
Right,
Now I've
yep.
had instances where there was a gentleman that did a oh, you're going to show us, John, that did a short presentation. A guy he didn't even know that had like this tumor on his spine. And a friend of his came to this gentleman and said, "Will you run it on him?" He didn't even know he ran it on for months. And finally they met and his life had changed. I mean, it was the tumor was still there, but his pain levels went so far down that it just blew his mind. So the intention was there on his part, but not the recipient's part, right? So that has a lot to do with it as well. But when you're running the Blue Dot app, especially with someone that's in a remote location, you're going to want to run it. I mean, in all reality, 4 to 6 to 8 times a day for very short periods of time. 2.5 minutes. The 5-minute marks right in that area is usually the sweeter spot. And you want to continually run that program. Pick morning, late morning, early afternoon, late afternoon, evening, and run that same program over and over and over and over again.
Okay.
And you can do that relatively quickly by going after you scan someone by going into the lists and just Well, John, maybe you can just show going into the list in the Blue Dot app and showing how to pick that program and running it quickly instead of scanning every time.
Sure. So,
Because like we talked about earlier, is the body likes that length of time, right? So you don't want to continually change up those frequencies in their body because they're not going to get the full effect of what they're intended for. So if you pick that frequency and you do that one scan, run that for the next 3 weeks, 3 months, whatever it may be. Don't even rescan if it's pain, and just continually have that intention and put that frequency into their body and see what happens then, multiple times a day.
How many minutes did you say?
I usually run it for that. I think it's the 2 minute and 59 seconds. I think it is on the Blue Dot.
Oh, okay.
And then throughout the day. Okay. So I'm not
Yep.
for sure why, but there's certain things that I'm seeing on your screen here that, did you scroll down further for that? Cause
I did.
man, I don't remember seeing that at all on my program.
So you
You
can
have to
scroll.
update
You
that.
see, I can scroll here.
Yep.
So I'm just scrolling down to the bottom on this, Janice.
Okay. And I thought I had scrolled all the way, but maybe I didn't.
Yep.
Well, do you recognize those programs, some of them?
Yes, like like the Biogenic Harmony, the Meridians, the Chakras, the Healy Skin program, but for
So do
some
you
reason
recognize
I
the
did not
creative-
see pain.
Okay, so pain, I believe is, hold on.
There it
John,
is,
one
Paul.
second.
See
I
it?
think,
Coming up from the bottom.
oh, you do have it there. Okay, okay. No, I don't see the other one that I was talking about here.
Well, your vital stimulation one's up here. Is this it, Paul, right
Here
there?
it is, okay. Okay, so they're both now. Okay, I got you.
Okay.
Okay, so then you'd go down to the pain, like John, where he was before.
Okay. I'll relook for that then.
Yep. And then if you don't have all these programs, I believe anyone that bought into the residence should still have all these. You may want to.
Yeah, and I do. Oh, okay.
If you don't.
Okay.
And I can show you real quick before we drop off on how to do that if John's willing.
What do you want me to do?
If she doesn't see all those programs, how to do that quick update, it's a little trick that I learned that helped me and a few other people that had issues with the Blue Dot where it freezes up, and then you can't get anywhere. It's been kind of an ongoing issue. But basically what it takes is just a quick update. So John, can you tap your settings gear? And then we go into the cloud settings. So if you don't have those programs, try this. And then basically what I do now is I take that automatic sync and I pop that to gray. I don't do an automatic sync anymore. John, you might, but you run a Apple device. I run an Android, and mine would freeze up for some reason. And then
No,
what I
mine's been
do
too.
after,
Mine's been too, so I'm going to do that now.
so you take that off and then do a full synchronization with your phone or iPad with the Healy next to it on. Do a full synchronization on it, and sometimes it takes 2 minutes, sometimes it's 2 hours. It depends. Yours is going to go quick now. It looks like.
Where are you seeing full synchronization?
There was a little blue, it said at the bottom of the screen, it said there was a little blue lettering that said full synchronization. You want to click on that.
Oh,
And then what happens after you do this full synchronization, I'm guessing it's going to last longer than the time we have, is that it's going to take and sync everything that you've scanned, but it's also going to take information from what they have on their cloud and put that into your program. So if you don't have all the programs, do this step and you should have them right after that.
Okay. Thanks so much. That's probably what's going on.
Yep.
one quick question. When I'm running the Blue, I'm getting stuff, where they're putting in the watch program. Does that
Mhm.
still work for, I don't have a watch?
Yeah, because the watch actually doesn't transmit frequencies anyway. So the frequencies that come out of that group will still work, yes.
Do you have any idea what they are? I've never seen.
Yes.
I don't. John, maybe you do, but there's so many new programs that they haven't come out with a great description of all of them. It's very new. And I haven't even played around with the majority yet.
If I can go, hold on, because I've got the watch program.
Well, it comes up on the Blue app on some of my.
No, I know, but I can actually show you.
Auto.
I can,
Oh, okay.
I can show it to you in here.
While we're in a little brief moment on the Blue app, not the pink one.
So,
Oh, yeah, there it is. I'll see on the.
so we've got 2 watch programs on. I got some updates, so let's just get that out of the way.
I think I'm gonna have to update. I don't see the watch programs on my pink
No,
app.
I have that as a subscription. So
Oh,
that's why you won't see
okay.
it on your pink. I you know, bought that
Yeah, it looks like
subscription.
you have a couple. Yeah, you have subscriptions there.
Right. So I've got subscriptions which you wouldn't have. So like I've got the Healy Watch Meridian things, which here's what that looks like. These are the frequencies for that. Then if I go to the
So
next
you'll
one
be able
over,
to run all those off the Blue Dot, just not the pink.
right, right. And so what they wanted to do, one of the ways, the watch will tell me which one of these to run. It'll give me ideas which ones to run from a physical point of monitoring. But the one of the guys in the field wanted to be able to run a scan. So if I have this program and I didn't want to use it from the watch, I could run a scan and go, oh, do I need spleen, pancreas, or bladder, or triple heater, you know, whatever. I could run that. So over here, then I have, you know, this is another subscription that I have, Digital Nutrition, which has, you know, this vibrates in nutrition to you relative to, like, they've got combinations of nutrition for brain, hair, skin, you know, what have you. They got it by that kind of a category for your age, amino acids, weight, trace elements, toxins, libido, plant substances, eyesight, competition, motion, mobility. So these are all the guys. I mean, as you can see, again, it's like overwhelming, a lot of stuff. And then I bought therapist programs, and I now can create therapist programs. So these are like therapist programs that I have, you know, can go through to. You want to have wealth and abundance. You want to move forward. You know, you're stuck in an emotional situation or a relationship. It's moving forward. Solfeggio, the earth frequencies. So those are therapist programs. And I've got the ability to create a therapist program uniquely just for you too. So.
Can I throw in an FYI?
What's up?
Can I throw in a little comment?
Sure.
My neighbor over here has a Rife machine, and he's been using that Rife machine for a very long time. And he helps clients and stuff like that and whatever. And then I showed him the Healy, and he's a longtime Rife user. And so he said, well, could you try that on my lungs? I haven't, since I had this heart attack, I've been having this pleurisy and I can't seem to get rid of it. I can't, it's not, and I said, you betcha. So I've been running the Healy on his lungs, and he says, you know, I'm doing much better. And I was like, yay, Healy, better than the Rife machine, yay. Anyway, he was surprised and pleasantly happy. So he keeps having me come over once a week at least, you know, to run it. But when I listen to what you are saying, you seem to talk about short repetitive times and multiple short repetitive times. And I haven't been doing that. Is that basically how you feel like you ought to run most of the programs, is short repetitive times?
On your Blue Dot, yes. On your pink dot, it makes sense to just be consistent. You know, let the program run, but do it daily, if not every, if not every other day, and stick with the programs. Don't keep switching programs. You're gonna see a better outcome if you stick with one and let your body absorb them. And
Okay.
listen to your body too, because your body will tell you when you've had enough. And I personally overdid it when I first got the Healy, and I was sick for about 3 days. I released a lot of toxins, and I had a Hertz reaction that lead to say, well, maybe I don't like this thing. But then by the third day, I was like, oh my goodness, I feel good. It's like that turn. As soon as you get over that reaction, like when you take I hate medicine about that, but when you take a medicine and finally starts to work, but you have that negative effect, it's the same thing, but this is doing something very good in your body.
Yeah. Oh,
And so where
okey-doke.
Paul had said on this, where you go through, so if you've run a scan, you've done a scan, if I click the house over there, now it brings me over to here where it says clients and lists.
Mhm.
I can come down here and I can go like, oh, okay, I'm going to pick up Jury here. Jury is my, my cousin's dog, right? So anyways, we ran a scan on the dog. I got the program that came up. I can hit actions. I can hit vibrate. I can come over here. I can touch 37 seconds and boom. I'm now running a treatment.
Oh, so that's where you can go to repeat your treatments.
Yeah, so
Yep.
you don't have to
Yeah.
do it. It comes very fast.
Okay.
It's very helpful. That is, the lists are very helpful.
And then
Great.
you can go, oh, I ran that one. Now I'm going to run this one. Boom, bring up the next one. Come over here, hit actions, hit vibrate, and then here's where you can select your time. So you can see it's like, okay, I just want to get 8 seconds. Boom. And it goes just that fast.
Wow. Okay.
And you know what? If you're brand new at this, don't worry. You'll become more facile with this as time goes on. It's just we're teaching you the little tricks now and go like, okay, ask us again next week. But I know we've kind of run over a little bit. We like to try and keep it to an hour so we don't overwhelm people. So I think, well, unless we've got a burning question, I want to thank Lynn again for sharing her stuff today. I want to thank everybody for their questions. But does anybody have a burning question, or can we call it a wrap for tonight? Going once. Going twice. All right.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night.
Bye, everyone. We'll see you next week.
All right. See you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.